Morning, and thank you guys for joining me this fantastic Monday morning. I hope everyone is having or has had a fantastic day. Welcome to Motivation Monday. All right, give people a few seconds to get signed in while I pin this up really quickly. Um, so, this morning, we're just going to be talking briefly about non negotiables. What are your non negotiables? Do you know your non negotiables? And one of the things that I learned in my process is that knowing your non-negotiables creates clarity and it gives you a sense of your limits and sense of priority as well. And your non-negotiables are are the things that you just don't compromise on. All right, and and the thing about your non-negotiables keep you on track towards your what you want most out of life. Okay, your goals, your fulfillment, your happiness, if you will, the things that you have to do, the steps that you must take, the habits that you must embody. Those are the non-negotiable things if you intend on attaining or acquiring the things that you have set out as most important to you. There will never be a better time. Okay, I hear a lot of people always say, well, I'll do it when this happens. All right. There will never be a better time. It will never get easier. It will never be less complicated or less stressful. And if you wait, life won't give you more time or opportunity or energy. As a matter of fact, what happens is you'll have less time, less opportunity, and less energy to pursue those things. And we see that happen all the time. So you have to establish boundaries, if you will, and those boundaries can look like non-negotiables. And like what I tell people, you have to make your growth and your happiness non-negotiable. All right, and in order to ensure that you have a happy life, in order to ensure that that your growth and happiness are paramount, you have to have, once again, these boundaries and these things that you have set up. All right. And like I said, a lot of people are prone to saying, oh, I'll do it another time. Okay. But what in actuality really happens? You don't have another time. There is no better time. If you look at every single one that has accomplished anything, me included, right? A lot of times they came at, if you look at it in retrospect, times that were not perfect, times that were inconvenient, times that were not ideal. But what happened is we took that time and we made it into the perfect time because it had to be. All right. We made it into the ideal time because we had to make it at that time. And what is always best sometimes is when you understand that going in, right? And realize that no time is better than the present. We are now 2 months into this year. A lot of people had goals, a lot of people had uh, dreams. But a lot of people's goals and dreams have succumbed to the same usual excuses: postponing it, doing it later, finding something else that we should do otherwise. But when you look at the people who are successful, I'm partial to, once again, keeping myself in good physical shape. And what you will find is you will find us entrenched in certain habits. Okay. And those habits are my non negotiables. I remember, even people asking me to change my timing of things in order to accommodate, and I don't. I am not going to adjust my schedule to accommodate someone who does not want to abide by or recognize or move according to that schedule. Because the moment you start adjusting your schedule, guess what happens? It's expected that you adjust it. And then now you have to now always negotiate your things that are not negotiable, like your happiness, like your health, like your schedule, like how you particularly like to do things. And that's not to say that you're going to be rigid with everything, but with certain things, you must be rigid with the things that have to do with your happiness and your fulfillment, if you will. All right? So, my question to you is, what are your non negotiables? What are your non negotiables? All right? Because once you can identify your non negotiables, right, you can make more conscious choices about your habits, make more conscious choices about your movements, because every single move, as I always say, every single move has to be moving you towards a particular goal. All right? And if it's not doing that, then it's technically a waste of time. All right? These is, like I always say, the difference between options and opportunities. Okay? And so this Monday, as opposed to us making these excuses, as opposed to us uh, as opposed to us always compromising our goals, our happiness, and our quote unquote health and well being, set boundaries on those things. Make certain things non negotiable. And you'll look up in a couple of weeks, months, or years, and you'll be glad to do it. Glad that you did it, because you know what? In the very beginning, when you're doing it, it seems like nothing is really happening. When you look back, you'll see the difference, because it happens gradually. All right, it happens over time, and yes, people will tell you that you're selfish. Yes, people will tell you that you do not compromise. But at day's end, right, when life is done, there will only be one question, and the answer will only be yes or no. Did you reach your goals? And the answer is yes or no. And a lot of times, in the answer no, you will find many instances where you compromised, many instances where you postponed, many instances where you second guessed, many instances where you allowed yourself to be taken off course. And the more often you see those instances, the less likely it is that you will have a life that's happy, or that you will have a life that has been fulfilled. Okay? And the people around you will understand that. Okay? The people around you will understand that, listen, I have a certain set of goals, and I am hell bent on achieving those goals. And I hope you have goals as well. All right? And where a happy blend is when your goals and my goals can coexist. But I'm never going to talk you out of your goals. Okay? I'm never going to try to talk you out of your goals. I can only hope that your goals align with mine. All right? And even if they don't, maybe we can just coexist while we both achieve our goals. All right? But please don't ever allow anyone to talk you out of yours, because that is a recipe for an unhappy end, because it will be filled with a whole bunch of shoulda, woulda, couldas. And that's never where you want to be. All right? Something to think about, because, like I said, it's Monday. We're headed into a new week, right? Technically a new month as well. All right? It's only the 4th day of the month. And a lot of people negotiate their goals. They negotiate what's most important. They negotiate their happiness. They negotiate their health. And those things, in my opinion, the habits surrounding those things should not be negotiable. Okay? The habits surrounding those things should not be negotiable. I woke up this morning and I started a new habit now of walking. All right. And we all have a lesser version of ourselves. And that lesser version of myself, you know, told me that it was okay if I didn't walk this morning. But a better version of myself said, no, you made a commitment that you would walk every single day, or you'd walk on these particular days. And so get up and get out there and walk. All right? No second guessing it. And then now I also put in the habit now of when I get done with that walk, I'm going to stretch. I have been notorious for neglecting my stretching. But you know what? I jumped on it today because I understand that there's certain things that I need to be able to do. And if I'm not doing if I'm not engaging in these habits on a regular basis, I won't have myself in a proper position to be able to take advantage of and or do those other things that I want. And I'm not willing to negotiate that. I'm not willing to come up short on that promise that I've made to myself. So those things that I have to do and to ensure those things happen have to be non-negotiable. All right? They have to be. So I hope you can find your non-negotiables. I hope you can stick to them. All right? Because that will be the difference between your being happy and or fulfilled with your life or not. Something to think about. Happy Monday, guys. And like I said, I'm interested to know, what are your non-negotiables? All right. Later.